In this video, we'll be talking about what to do if you have an emergency situation where the balloon breaks on the button and you don't have a button with a new balloon or an intact balloon to replace it with. The first thing you can do is you can just put this tube back into the stoma to keep the stoma open until you can replace it with a fully functioning button. So to do that, you want to use some water-soluble lubricant like KY jelly.
Mommy,
Put a good amount of that.
You're using it 3 times.
Put a good amount of that. I like to put it right onto the stoma, and then there's plenty of it there. And then we just Okay, you push it in. You push the tube in.
Then wipe.
Yes, then we clean off the extra. And then you'll want to use a few pieces of tape, 3 or 4 pieces of tape across the tube to hold that in.
Need it. Hold on it.
So obviously this is a very temporary solution.
I need the washcloth.
You don't want to have to leave it like
No,
this any
this
longer than you have to. But this will keep the stoma open until you can replace the tube.
Now I don't need this tape and
The next option, if for some reason you're unable to use
I
the
need
tube,
this tape still.
the next option is to use a
won't
Foley
hurt.
catheter. Now the Foley catheter has a balloon on the end that you can inflate through this port. So again, you'll want to use a pretty good amount of lubricant.
Just about
And then-
again.
Put that right into the stoma.
Oh, that didn't turn at all. So you don't have to push it all the way in. Ugh.
And this Foley,
Just don't look
the
at
instructions with it say to inflate it with 10 cc's of water. So we want to inflate the balloon.
it.
And then, so now that balloon is inflated, so that's gonna, that's gonna stay in there.
Wipe
So
off the extra.
We'll clean off the extra lubricant. And then we've got to tape it down so that it's not gonna
I've got
fall
some
out.
tape.
If we were actually feeding into this, then we could we could use a syringe to feed into this, or we could plug the Christmas tree adapter from the pump set into this. But right now, since we're not feeding into it, and please put your feet down. Put your feet down. There's no clamp. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kink this. Actually, I'm going to do it a little farther down. Please don't lay like that. You're going to make it
Why do you want to kink it?
Because if we don't, then everything that's in your tummy is just going to come pouring out of your tummy. Okay?
That's my tape.
No, that one's mine. So I'm going to kink it, and I'm going to
Mine.
put a piece of tape around that to hold that like that, since I don't have a clamp that I can use with it. Lay down, please. I'm not finished. Then this Foley is smaller, a smaller French size. Her tube is a 16 French, and this is only a 14 French.
Oh,
So I'm expecting there to be some leakage. This is just for tea. I'm expecting some leakage, so I'm going to put gauze around it. And if you don't want to tape the gauze directly to the stomach, you can just fold the tape around it like that.
oh, I don't want to go.
And then, just so that it's not dangling, say if this was to happen at school, they would need her to be able to be up and walking around. Please lay on your back. So if this was to happen at school, we would just coil this up and tape it like that so that It's going to stay in her stomach and it's going to stay out of the way until we could get it replaced. So that's pretty much all there is to it. And again, this is a temporary thing. You want to get a new G-tube in as quickly as possible, but this will make it so that you can get to the emergency room or get in to see your practitioner and not have the stoma close before you get that new tube in. So, I mentioned earlier that Foley catheters don't come with a clamp, and that can be a problem if you're having to use that in an emergency. But what you can do is take an extension tube and cut the end off of it, and then pull the clamp off of that and slide that clamp onto the Foley. So then you have a clamp that you can use instead of having to fold the Foley like that and tape it. So that's another option.